Welcome back. No particular DIY project in this video, although I did get some new tyres this week, and I want to talk about the process, let's say, of investing in new tyres. First though, I just wanted an excuse really to just mention in passing that my little channel here went past the 10,000 subscriber mark recently. And yeah, I wanted to say, thank you to all of you who have subscribed. I know that 10K on YouTube is still it's a small channel. It's still a tiny channel, in fact. But if you think about it in terms of numbers, 10,000 is not exactly a small quantity of people. So yeah, thank you. I really, first put my first videos up here on YouTube as a bit of an experiment, really, and the quality was terrible. But I've been quite happy with how things have progressed, I think, so I'm going to keep plugging away at it and we'll see how it goes. For now, I'm going to talk about tyres. So I needed to replace my rear tyres. These old ones were Goodyear Eagle 5s, and they were good, but they did seem to wear quickly and they were never exactly cheap. So I started looking at the options available, and this is what I wanted to talk about. The problem with researching tyres is the lack of data that you have to go on. With most products, there's some sort of obvious feature set to compare, and then you can go over user reviews and feedback to gauge quality or durability or whatever. But with tyres, it's basically this ring of rubber that you throw on different cars and then put into a really complex environment, different roads, weather, different drivers with varying skill and aggressiveness. And also varying expectations. So there are so many variables that user feedback is almost worthless, I'd go so far as to say. And I don't mean it's totally worthless, I mean that comparisons become really tricky, because in comparing the one user review to another, you're never isolating the one variable that you care about, which is the tyre itself. So what I did was get a bit of a list of what looked like sensible options that were actually available to me locally in my budget range, ignoring the really cheap economy and Chinese type junk that's obviously no good. And then I started to look at the so-called reviews. And what I found was this pretty neat website, tyrereviews.co.uk, and I'm not affiliated with them in any way. And there are probably others similar out there. Where you can look up the tyre that you're interested in and you'll see a collation of different bits of feedback. So firstly, you can find user reviews, which can be interesting to look over, but as I already said, I really don't think they're that useful from a truly objective perspective, because they're just too anecdotal and usually they're not providing a neutral comparison to anything else. So I mean, you can maybe get an idea if the tyres are really bad or really good. If these number bars are all below 50%, then maybe there's a problem. And if they're all 80 and 90%, then maybe it's pretty good. But I wouldn't pay too much attention to this one tyre being 83% while another is 88%. And that's very likely to end up being pretty misleading. However, this page also mentions tests, which sounds more promising. So you can see here, 2018 test World Summer Tyre Test, first, and then there's a second tab available, All Tests, where you get links to summaries of tests by organizations that have included the particular tyre you're looking at in some actual objective testing. So if I click on this first one, it's a write-up of a German test, and then you get a bunch of different test results, dry braking and handling, wet braking and handling, noise, rolling resistance. Okay, you get the picture. So this is a write-up of the test itself. It's not direct from the magazine or whoever did it. Sometimes you can search for that and find it online, sometimes not. And I'm not claiming, by the way, that these tests are the be-all and end-all. I know from business experience in my other life that magazines particularly are very commonly corrupted, frankly, by advertising dollars. You should look very closely to check that there was no involvement whatsoever by any of the manufacturers or brands in contention, because sometimes there is. But really, this is about as good as you're going to get in trying to make a choice on something that's otherwise so opaque. The other thing you'll do in the process of this research is come up with alternative choices that you may not have previously been aware of, either in the products being looked at in the tests, or the website has this alternative tyres tab as well. Okay, so as you might expect from what I've been showing you here, I put some new Michelin Pilot Sport 4s on the rear of my Mondeo. I think from my research that they were the best choice, certainly for the money. I'm not necessarily recommending them in general. Part of my choice is informed, like I said, by the relative sort of local availability and price, which might be different for you. I also got another alignment done at the same time, and boy, my front toe was quite badly out. I knew that there were some problems as I could feel some drift in the steering, but as you can see, this toe on both sides is quite far out of spec. The total is about double what the Ford spec allows for, so I suppose that's a lesson in keeping on top of alignment. Okay, well that's just my thoughts on choosing tyres. I thought I'd put them out there. Have fun.